Hi everyone, Julia here, recording this February 17th, 2023, 2024, and just pondering some concepts that I'm absorbing in my training to become a Mace energy method practitioner. And it's really interesting what John Mace, who's a genius by all accounts, you can get his book Causism. I'll link their website in the description. And he discerned and talks about how we're energy beings, we're spiritual beings, and he talks about how energy is indestructible and pure. Energy can't really be polluted. Electricity, for example, you never hear of polluted electricity. And we're the same thing. Our being is perfect and omniscient and omnipresent. And of course there's only now, but in this material universe, so our spiritual being comes from the energy universe to this material universe, where we have to navigate for a bit, and we get to use this body and this mind. And here we have motion, so we have time. But in the energy universe, it's just now. And if you have a moment and something happens in a moment, in that flash where nothing's moving, it's outside of time. It's happening in the energy universe. So when you have a trauma and you react to that trauma and with a negative emotion, that moment, that worst moment in that trauma happened in the energy universe. And the moment you had that bad, negative emotion was again a timeless thing that happened in the energy universe. But it's just in that moment, of course, in this material world. The next moment came. And we had time here, but when that worst moment in your trauma happened, it happened outside of time in the energy universe. So the key to discreating these negative identities that we create in that moment, we have to somehow connect back to the energy universe. And that's one of the genius things that John Mace worked out, is how to do that. And that's why you have to have another person there, and you can't just do this on yourself, because when you go back to that worst moment, you have to be suspended in time. Like when you put a video on pause, you're there, you're just stuck there. And then you have a little bit of processing to do with the emotion you felt at that time. And there's just no way possible, because you need that inside view. You need the view from the energy universe, whereas the practitioner has the view from the material universe. So that's why this kind of work doesn't work on ourselves. That's why all these other methods that so many people talk about, and counseling, all this other stuff, none of that works, because they haven't gotten to the cause. And the cause we know is trauma, but we have to also know the dynamics of the cause, the aspects of the energy universe versus the material universe. And then, of course, We have our own universe, how we perceive things by whatever the identities we have created so we can navigate this reality in these meat suits, these bodies. So yeah, it's just so genius. You just go back, you get into that moment where you tap into the energy universe, just like when people get in deep meditation, out-of-body experiences, and that's what it is, really, an out-of-body experience in a sense. And you deal with your creation, your non-survival creation that you created unknowingly, and you just create it in a matter of seconds. Just amazing. And I was just listening to Jerry McKinsky again today, and he's somebody who's tried everything over 40 plus years of counseling people. He would be retired, but too many people are coming to him. And he was just saying, Mace energy method is like magic. He just can't even believe it. The only people it doesn't work on is really hardcore schizophrenics, really psychotic people. He says everything else, easy. So there you go. I mean, like I've been saying, this is the ticket, guys. And you don't have to dredge up anything about your past. You don't have to go relive this trauma. You don't even have to know about the trauma. All you have to do is go back to that feeling and feel it for a very short time. And then you'll be able to go back and scan your life and maybe pick up some traumas you didn't remember. But when you look back on them, you'll have an indifferent view instead of going back into that place when it happened in time, Since there's only now, that's why you can relive traumas, because you put yourself in that suspended animation when you relive a trauma for moments, and that's why you can feel that feeling just like you were there again. And there's no reason, absolutely no reason whatsoever to go through all that. And that's what so many psychotherapies do, is they just have people rehash their traumas and try to find exactly what happened. And sometimes not even just in this lifetime. They want to find out exactly what happened in their other lifetimes. And none of that is necessary. It's not relevant. The only thing that's relevant is the feeling, which will lead us to finding the negative identity, which was unknowingly created and has become non-survival. And so the being goes back in with the help of a Mace energy magician, practitioner. And most people leave the first session feeling like a new person, because they are a new person. Because they don't have all these negative identities that are running the show, controlling everything. Because the more you let something take control, the more control it has. Like I was mentioning on my last video, somebody who's really good in sports, well, they've let that identity really take over. Well, that's what happens with these negative ones. They take over, and instead of producing a awesome sports person, they produce an asshole. So there you go. If you don't want to be an asshole anymore, or whatever other issue you might have, you won't want to be sad anymore, this is the ticket, guys. And yeah, hopefully, I think there's a whole nother concept that needs to be addressed, just from my perception, where, to me, as soon as somebody hears about this, they should just be like, oh my gosh, no way, it's too good to be true, let me research it, and then some people react with like, nah, I'm good where I'm at, all good. So I guess it's everybody's choice. And that's another premise, of course, in the Mace energy method model is, in any model, people who want help are the only ones who can get help. If you don't want to be helped, and if there's changes that need to be made and you don't want to make those, then it's not going to happen. However, that being said, if the changes are an addiction, that can be handled with the Mace energy method. In one session, you can go from being a smoker to a non-smoker. You can go from being an alcoholic to a social drinker. And, you know, John Mace says there's no reason to be a teetotaler if you don't want to be. I have a different opinion because I have issues with alcohol. But anyway, yeah, because addictions are just a negative identity gone wild. That's all it is. You remove that negative identity, then there's no addiction. And I know it seems too easy and too magical, but sometimes things are as they seem. So, thanks everyone for listening. Hope you have a great morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are. Remember to stay focused on what you want and help others if you can. Ciao, ciao.